We're back again with more on our breaking news coverage in Anderson County at Townville Elementary School. We're told our Air 7 helicopter is just arriving in that area. We can give you a little better idea of what's going on. We thought it was important to show it to you. If we can take that shot from Air 7 now, there is the school down below, and you see what appears to be a sizable response from law enforcement back on the other side of the street, lining up to that school. Don't see any of the students in our video here, though we were told, actually, if that banner appears to show some activity coming out of the back side of the school there, but there it is in that back parking lot. You see the big response there and a playground just off to the side of that. We do know Oconee County Sheriff spokesman Jimmy Watt told us that's what deputies from Oconee County were called in to assist with, which is clearing this school. In other words, getting every parent, every teacher, and especially every student safely out of the building. The response here is massive as we still try to work to get details of what's going on. One of the reasons details are a little sketchy at this point is because as we reach out to sheriff's deputies, we reach out to our sources, they're still scrambling to find out exactly what's happening. We've contacted the school district, first responders of every stripe from multiple counties, and all of them say as they rush to the scene, they're trying to get a handle on exactly what's happening. We did watch at least one medical helicopter come in here to get one patient from the scene, but we have no idea the extent of any injuries or if there are any other injuries. I'm just being told South Carolina Highway Patrol has responded to this scene as well. What you see as we zoom in here, and this appears to be the back side of the school, is that yellow tape being strung up along the back side of the school. So generally indicative of what would be a crime scene here, an investigation underway. I recognize the Anderson County Sheriff's Department cars. Those are the black cruisers you see there along the yellow tape. But there's a massive law enforcement response here, not only at the school, but again on Highway 24, where that highway has been shut down. Now, as we zoom in on the roof of the school, what you're seeing here is what appears to be tactical units, and you can tell by the vests they're wearing as they go across the roof of the school. And guys, if we can tell our helicopter to pull back maybe a little bit, because we want to be very careful here about what we're showing, because we do not know if this is an active scene at this point, and we actually don't know exactly what's taking place there. So Donald in the booth, if you can ask the helicopter to pull back a little bit, because we want to give people an idea of what's going on here. And in fact, I see two helicopters on the ground there on what appears to be a baseball field next to the school here. If you're just joining us, this is Townville Elementary School, Anderson District 4, Anderson County, a school of about 290 students. This is a relatively rural area, which I'm sure you can gather by looking at these images of what appears to be just open land around the school. We're zooming in on these helicopters now as I try to get a better idea of exactly what kind of helicopters we're looking at. I know one of them is a life flight emergency medical helicopter, and in fact, if you look to the left of the helicopter, what appears to be emergency responders working on or tending to a patient. Again, we're trying to be very careful about what we show you here, and we're trying to be very careful about what we say, because the last thing we want to do is say something that we don't have confirmed, and we don't want to panic anybody unnecessarily. But this is an important enough story, and the reason we're cutting into programming to bring it to you is because you are looking at Townville Elementary School, and I'm being told those two helicopters you just saw, both of them are medical helicopters. So now we know there is a multiple response of air ambulances to get people off of this scene. We don't know who those patients are. We don't know exactly, again, what has happened to lead to those injuries. We've heard a lot of reports, but we're not going to speculate here. Let's recap what we do know for sure. We know that at Townville Elementary School, we have a possible shooting. We're using that language very carefully here because we do not have confirmation from law enforcement sources of exactly what kind of shooting, if any, took place. But we do know this is Townville Elementary School. The images you've been watching from Air 7, as you saw, one of many helicopters that have responded to this scene, at least two of them, the air ambulance type, the medical evacuation helicopters that would get patients to the hospital quickly. Highway 24, the major route that runs past Townville Elementary, is closed. The sole purpose for doing that, we have been told, is to make sure that police, fire, and EMS can get to that school as quickly as possible. And it looks, as we look at this shot, and I'm seeing at least one of these medical choppers has already taken off, presumably with the patient, but again, we don't know for sure. We have not heard exactly what has led to any injuries there, but as we showed you just a moment ago from Air 7, there is what appears to be crime scene tape around the back side of that school near what appears to be the school staff parking lot. That's a baseball field very near the school, Townville Elementary, where we did just see 2 medical emergency helicopters. One of them has since taken off. You see the others still on the ground. We know Oconee County Sheriff is there, Anderson County Sheriff, the South Carolina Highway Patrol, as well as a large response from other emergency vehicles, EMS and fire. Again, Highway 24 closed to get those vehicles in and out as quickly as possible. We've got these pictures from Air 7. I'm now told we have multiple crews headed to this scene on the ground, working to bring you live pictures from there as soon as we get anything confirmed about what's happened here, and we are working all of our sources. We're going to cut in and bring you that information immediately. So, okay, I'm told actually we're working now. We have one crew on the scene already. Our reporter Christine Brown, she works out of Anderson County, so is familiar with this area and this location. And do we have? Okay, we're gonna work to bring her in. She's trying to join us by telephone with some more details of that school. But you can see this is not a huge school. This is an elementary school in a relatively rural area, so fewer than 300 kids go to this school. Anderson District 4 is in that area, sort of the northern part of Anderson County. It's not too far from Lake Hartwell. And this response now a multi-county, multi-agency response. We've seen helicopters evacuating at least one person, and last we saw there was at least one more on the ground. This appears to be the front side of the school. You can see that covered walkway as it goes into the main entrance of Townville Elementary. What we saw looking from Air 7 is this crime tape going along the back side of the school. So that appears to be where we saw Anderson County Sheriff's deputies investigating, sort of near a playground area on the back side of the school. And as we zoom around here with Air 7, you still see one of those emergency helicopters still on the ground. We appear to have lost that signal for just a moment. But we're interrupting your programming, and this is an unusual step for us, before we know exactly what happened because of the magnitude of the response to this school. Because we got initial reports that something was happening at Townville Elementary, and then an overwhelming response from law enforcement as we reached out to them trying to figure out what was going on. All right, I'm told we have Christine Brown, our Anderson reporter, standing by. Christine, can you hear me? Okay, we'll keep trying to get Christine here. Christine, do you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you, Christine. You're on the air with us here as we're breaking in with this live news. So if you're on the way to the ground there, have you reached the scene yet?
I have. I've just gotten to the school about 10 minutes or so ago. I haven't been able to get an officer over here to give us the latest details just yet, but they are very busy. There's dozens of law enforcement officers and patrol cars here from Oconee, Anderson, all around. They've surrounded this school, and they have a lot of areas surrounding the school blocked off from everyone going. We've also seen, I've been walking around, they have a good bit of children, of students packed around the cemetery that's right next to the school. They're trying to get them all loaded up onto buses so that they can get them out of the area, back home. But they have had a lot of parents, and I've seen a lot of parents distraught. They're panicked. They're walking and running up to the school. They're trying to find their own children.
Okay, Christine, let me interrupt you because I just got some news about that. The kids, as we told you earlier, had been cleared out of this school. Parents, if you have a child at this school, you're going to want to go to Oakdale Church Road. That's off Highway 24. Oakdale Church Road, parents. Important that you go there. As Christine is telling you, this is a scene with a massive law enforcement response. And since, Christine, you've arrived at that scene, we have confirmed through the Anderson County Sheriff's Office that there was a shooting at this school, and they do have someone in custody. They tell us this is no longer an active threat, that they believe that whoever is responsible for a shooting at Townville Elementary is in custody, and they are not searching for anyone else associated with that shooting at this point. So it appears, Christine, as you're there on the ground, that this is now a secure area, and what they're doing is sort of backtracking to figure out exactly what happened. I imagine that's what you're seeing is sort of a slower pace out there from the response?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Christine, and I apologize for interrupting. We want to make sure people know that this is a secured area now, as they appear to have a shooter in custody after a confirmed shooting at this school and Oakdale Church Road. The latest information for parents at Townville Elementary on where to pick up their kids. Christine, tell me, we're looking from Air 7 here. Give me an idea of where you are and where you see any sort of command center activities. What does it look like from where you are?
Okay, service is breaking up a little bit, so if I lose you, I apologize. But for now, we are in front. I'm in the very front of the Townville Elementary School. And from what I can see from here, they still have a good bit of law enforcement and their patrol cars, lights on, roads blocked off around the area, dozens of patrol cars still surrounding the school. As you mentioned, I have heard them directing parents to another road, Oakdale Road. And still, though, there's some parents coming up to the scene a little panicked, trying to get back. So they should, listen to the directions, because they are trying to get those kids on buses. There's actually a bus passing me right now full of children heading to Oakdale Road. I also, just before this phone call, saw a bunch of heavily armed officers on top of the roof checking out. I don't know if they've been stationed there for a while, or if they've been up there for a long time, but they've been walking around the roof. They're walking all around the property, and while it is a controlled scene now, there's still a lot going on. A lot of officers surrounding and trying to get a control of the situation, of people trying to get back to the school and to find their children.
Okay, Christine, what we're going to do is let you go and get some more information from the law enforcement you see there on the scene, because it does sound like your phone's breaking up. We'll be back in touch with Christine Brown very shortly to get more information. Christine, thank you. One of the things we are showing, and Christine said she just saw this, we saw a row of buses come along the side of the school and what appear to be a large line of children getting onto those buses. Christine said she just saw a bus full of kids. And I want to reiterate this because it's important for parents. This is a Townville Elementary, Anderson 4, and here comes another bus now. And look at the kids. God, these poor kids. This is a confirmed shooting in an elementary school, folks. So what we're looking at is kids from Townville Elementary waiting to get on board a bus where they can go meet their parents at Oakdale Church Road. That's off of Highway 24. Highway 24 itself is closed because of the massive response from sheriff's deputies from both Anderson and Oconee counties and from the Highway Patrol. You see the buses now. We're showing these poor kids who have endured some sort of ordeal today, and the Anderson County Sheriff's Office confirming for us that they do have a shooter in custody. There was a shooting at Townville Elementary School today. We do not know the extent of how many people were shot at and how many people were injured, but enough that we saw 2 emergency helicopters come in. It did appear they were working on at least one patient before one of those helicopters then took back off. You see more ambulances as well on the scene here. Look, this is the kind of thing, I'm a parent too, so this is a worst nightmare type situation, and if you have kids in Anderson County, this is as scary as it gets. So we're trying to give you only the information that we know for sure. We don't know specifics at this point on how severe any shooting was, only that there was a shooting. And what you're watching now is kids evacuated from this school in the middle of a school day on a Wednesday, getting on these buses that were brought in to get any kids who were in the school cleared out by deputies onto the bus and to Oakdale Church Road so they can be reunited with their mothers and fathers who are at this point scared to death. Deputies have to work to now gather any evidence that might be on this scene. Again, if we confirm there was a shooting and you saw what appeared to be crime scene tape around the back of the school, which is not far from where this camera is zoomed in, showing these kids being picked up here. We know that the law enforcement agencies, in addition to these medical helicopters we've seen up in the area, have their own on the air. Earlier when we showed you some pictures of these emergency responders getting to the scene, we were reluctant to show you some of that because at that point we were not sure that they did have someone in custody. We have now been told by the Anderson County Sheriff's Office that they do. So this scene is now secure. Whatever has transpired there is now over. I'm going to recap it one more time, folks. I don't want to repeat myself, but this is important stuff. Townville Elementary School is in Anderson County District 4. Anderson County Sheriff's Office tells us there has been a shooting there. They do have someone in custody. Multiple sheriff's offices responding to clear that school and secure that area, and now to preserve what is a crime scene. Parents, if you got kids at Townville Elementary, Highway 24 is closed because of this law enforcement response. You need to go to Oakdale Church Road to pick up your kids, and we've been watching as those children board school buses to go and meet their parents. We are still gathering more information about this as it comes in from our multiple crews on the ground. We're going to cut in and bring it to you. It's a serious situation. We want to get everything confirmed. Stay with us here and WSPA.com.